And we're live. Can you hear me? That's the tricky part. I think you can. I think we're all good. We just jumped on. Lina's going to be here in just one second. Welcome, friends, to Forge Fridays. Let me make sure that everything's live on our wonderful channels here. Righty. Now let Lina in. I'm just checking. She got the link. Great. LinkedIn just went live. I'm going to drop a link to everybody. We are excited. I cannot hear you yet.
Sorry, I have my. Do you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Why is it coming through the wrong microphone on my computer? That's okay. I'll fix that. There we go. I definitely was like, oh, you know what I didn't do? Post the event, like set up the stream yet. Oh. I think the person that's watching is me at the moment over there. Let me see. I think so.
Might be
Yeah,
me because I'm on YouTube on the side. I have it muted,
gotcha.
but I have it on the side.
Gotcha. Let me go ahead. I didn't do the same thing, but now let me just go ahead and make a post. Our event is now also on LinkedIn. So that's live. Let me grab the link for that. Which is like, no, you can't have the link. What you can have is like a link to the theater, which I guess works. There we go. That's what it's giving me now because it was setting everything up. Oh, wait, why? What if I leave this? Okay. Thank you. That's the one I want. Copy link. I'm going to send you the link so we can post it. And then I'll drop a link in the chat inside of.
I see it.
Yeah, I'm going to grab another one to go throw it into the community. All right. Community events.
I wonder who's there. Who's in the chat?
I know Aaron said he was going to be coming. Now you are a boss lady over there. All right, so I posted. Okay, I gotta post it in like so many places. I want to share this in developer discussions now. I guess I don't need that extra attachment. It does come in fine in Slack. All right, so now share this over to developer discussion.
Once you're set up, what do you want to cover?
Okay, and I was gonna. The best part is if nobody shows up, we still have a lot of stuff we can talk about related to Forge.
Yeah. Tell me, you can tell me about like your journey in learning Forge.
Yeah, I'm just get this last thing in, and hop on in and say hey and ask us questions or teach us.
Yeah, we're both learning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I come from an embedded world, so my world, it has everything to do with like C, C++.
Did you ever use Fortran?
No, I didn't. I never got a chance to use Fortran. I did get a chance to use Ada.
Gotcha. Yeah, Nathan is mostly Fortran and Python, but also knows C and C++.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
well, that was the world I came from. I started learning well, not too long ago. I started learning HTML, CSS, and I'm getting myself into the JavaScript. So it's just for me, it's understanding the syntax, right? Because understanding the idea of how functions are called and variables and all that stuff it's natural for me, but it's
Hmm.
understanding like the syntax and how to write.
Yes.
That's
Uh,
where I'm learning.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I struggle. I mean, so one of the things that I have sort of decided to do when it comes to learning is mostly, hey, it's Brittany,
Brittany.
is that I've mostly decided to skip the whole, like, not that I'm not learning the syntax, but I, we have such good autocompletes now
Uh-huh.
that we can spend less time focusing on the syntax and it will help us out. And I can focus more on the logic. But you're right. Like on the flip side of that is that the logic is the hardest thing. Or sorry, the logic is the hardest thing to learn. But once you've got it, you've got it. And the syntax is the thing that's the most different and the most annoying about the fact that it's all freaking different.
Yeah. Yeah, very different. I feel
I
like
have learned. Go ahead.
no, I said I feel like Python is such an easy syntax to learn.
Yes, Brittany said it. Who needs syntax when you have AI? Brittany,
True.
this is often how I feel, but the answer is we do because AI will get the syntax wrong.
Oh yeah, we
Uh,
gotta correct it because it doesn't know. So I've when ChatGPT came out, right? I was like, oh, they say it can code. Let me go check it out, see if it actually can code. And I made it do like simple things. It could do simple things, right? Like
yep.
could do simple things, but then I try to challenge it, and it would just like give me some of like this does not make any sense.
Yeah, it's so true. That's been my experience as well. Oh, Bob's here too. Hey, Bob.
Hey Bob.
Excellent. Yeah, we have a panel in our. We can pop out. There's a chat panel in the restream too. So
Okay, yeah, I've never used this Restream software.
yeah, I'm using it because I want to look at possibly um actually like using OBS or um, Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
This well, Zoom though is too expensive. You have to spend like $49 a month for Zoom to be able to send it in 1080p
Mm.
or 4K. But I get really annoyed when web browsers go, "Oh no, we don't know how to work for like 15 seconds and freeze
Oh,
because we're streaming."
yeah. Eh.
Um, um, but for me, my journey has been I guess I first like I have never really been a programmer, but I've been a scripter.
Mm.
Um and did a lot more scripting when I was at Sonos. I don't remember exactly when ChatGPT came out, but I feel like it was like right before that I started we were doing a migration
Hmm.
for Confluence from on-prem to cloud. and I had to figure out how to like rewrite a bunch of macros in the storage, like in the storage code for uh, because certain things don't work in certain page types, like the classic versus like the legacy versus the new, and they're going to be pushing us all to the new one here soon anyway.
Yep.
Um, and so I got more into stuff then, and ChatGPT was a huge breakthrough for me because I've tried to learn so many times, but I just get like I feel like I don't have anything to show for what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I am not getting anything done any faster. And it was also always like completely on top of a 40-hour a week job. And right now, I don't have a 40-hour week job, but I have more time to. Like I love that I can just dream up flights of fancy and tell AI, and it will build like something that's kind of okay. And then even if I don't ever do anything with it, then I can like read the code and think about how it works and be like, is that how that should be? And like it just lets me explore code in a much more interactive way that has been really helpful to get me to be able to start to put concepts together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, JavaScript. Why? Why?
I know.
Who who came up with this monstrous? I mean, and then like not only then what they did, they're like, well, okay, we came up with this language, and now what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a bunch of shortcuts to simplify things that are still confusing,
Mm-hmm.
like the arrows. We literally make arrows out of ASCII characters in JavaScript to tell it to do things.
Yep. Yep. And Forge. So correct me if I'm wrong, but Forge uses React, right?
Forge,
Or a version of JavaScript in there.
so Forge UI kit uses
Yes.
React.
Yes.
They
That.
use Node for the backend. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. So it's
you can
understanding because
use,
I feel like the HTML and the CSS I got it down right.
yep,
I know how to do those because I've built websites and I usually use libraries to do all the JavaScript right on the website.
right.
Because I'm like, there's no point of me redoing this JavaScript when there's libraries I just call. So I do that, but now I'm trying to learn the whole uh
Yeah,
node.
Bob, you're right. We should just go back to Perl. We should go back to Perl.
I know, right? It's like everywhere. Why can't
dive in.
it's like I'm used to like just with embedded systems, you're used to using like C or C plus plus, but like you sometimes mix a little, but it's not like here
Mhm.
where like everything's everywhere.
Yeah, well, and the thing about that's so true, it's like there's JavaScript, and then there's 82 different flavors of JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird thing. And the JavaScript was like, what if we were a front end language, but then we became a back end language? Like, what if we just decided to do both? Because somebody was like, what if you took a web browser and you made it into an application? Like, one of my favorite things is the hate so many Mac people have for Electron apps. Electron JS. I'm not should have stopped at
I
Java.
I
Yeah,
think we
Bob.
should stop at Java. Yes,
Yeah,
I
Java's the
agree.
place where I want to stop.
Yeah, I
I
learned
find
Java
Java.
and
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I spent many years with my face in Java, not knowing what the heck I was doing because I had to because of Jira and Confluence. But JavaScript is easier for me to learn, it
hmm,
seems. But I think it's harder for AI to write because there's so many flavors of it, and there's actually a lot of good Java code in the world.
there is. May Hey, Lucy. Yeah, no. So I spend Wednesday evening because ChatGPT has this new feature that's called the tutor, right?
Yes.
It helps you study. So I'm like, let me go try it. I'm still like, I was still struggling with the manifest files because I did not understand how those manifest files work. So I'm like, oh, let me see if ChatGPT can help me figure out, like, don't give me the answer, but understand how they work and why are they structured the way they're structured, right?
So not even necessarily like what each piece of a manifest file does, as much as why is a manifest file structured the way it is anyway?
Yeah, because I like to understand like the concept because I don't just like writing things. I like to. Alex says I like to look at everything before I do anything. But because that's how I am. That's how I learn. I like to understand how it actually is. That's what it does, and then understand what each of the concepts does to be able to understand the whole idea.
Absolutely. So, um, speaking of manifest files,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us? Why don't we talk a little bit about why manifest files are the way they are? I will bring one up. Give me one
Mhm.
second here.
Yeah,
I'll
if you
bring up
bring an
another
Atlassian
example.
one up, so that way we can kind of relate
Yeah.
it to the Atlassian ecosystem. For
Yeah. Do you want me to just bring up like the manifest page in the Forge documentation? Do you want me to bring up a full manifest file?
oh, whichever one you have, whatever you have
Yeah. I
available.
mean, I can just go grab. I mean, I'm going to Bitbucket and get one.
Yeah, there's probably like a whole bunch of examples, especially if you do the when you build the Hello World one. That's there
Yeah,
too.
well, and also they have the like what I really like is I can go to the page approver because that's using UIKit 2. So
Mm.
there's actually a decent amount I think in there. Yeah, this is great. All right, let me share this. Okay. And I was trying to guess if I think there's one person hanging out over on Twitch.
Oh, you're
We're
on
down to
Twitch
five
too?
people now. Oh yeah. I'm also occasionally on Facebook. All right. Oh, I'm not quite at the top, I think. Here, hold on. Let me get back to the
Okay, that's cool
page.
because that's exactly like this is very similar
Oh
to
yeah,
what
this
I'm
is the
trying.
whole page. This is the top. Yeah.
So what I was trying to get ChatGPT to teach me to be my
Right.
tutor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, um, why don't we talk through it? What did you learn?
So I was looking at the specifics after I figured out what it was, right? So this, if you look at that specific section called modules, right?
Yep.
So that you moved.
All right. There we go. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. Wait. How is it doing this? Wait. Why? Why do I move things and then it does something different? Wait. We're on a hold. What is happening? Oh, I went back.
Yeah, you
Oh
went
my
back.
gosh. Oh, I was so confused. Here we go. Modules.
So modules are basically what tells the app this or the how did I explain? How did I learn it? Let me see. Let me quickly look at it. I don't
Oh my
confuse
God. Oh my gosh. Yes, Bob Yaml. Everybody's favorite, yet another markup language here.
people. Right.
I'm going to bring it over into a
Okay.
better view. So give me one second. I'm going to just reshare us in because I want to be able to give you guys. I think it's going to be fun to be able to have this up and then also have, um, oh my gosh, too many things happening. Here we go. Let me get back over here and then share back in because what I want to do is I think we'll bring up the manifest, but then we'll also bring up,
That is true.
um,
Python will definitely change your view on tabs versus spaces. Definitely. Because in Python, like the whole tabs and spaces make a lot of difference.
all right, so we'll start here, but I'm going to have on the other side ready for us to talk about what 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 modules are. Like that's what we're going to get into. So yeah, let's talk about modules here,
It's okay.
and then we'll have another tab to flip to talk about how they work or like what all types there are.
Okay, so I have it right now. My notes on the side. So modules, the specific. So if you look at it, right, there's modules, resources. If you look at the hierarchy, we have modules,
Yep.
resources, permissions, and apps, right?
Yep.
Or app, because there's no s. App. So modules, what they are, they describe what actually runs in the UI. So it tells you what are you using inside of Jira? So are you using, for example, here they're using, or it's Confluence in this case, they're using the content by line item. So in this case, that's where your app is gonna be running in. So like the simple ones that I've seen in like the Hello World, right? Those are like the issue panel. So the issue,
Yep.
instead of Confluence, it will say Jira colon issue panel, right?
Yep.
And it basically tells you in the issue panel is where this app is gonna be doing whatever you're telling it to do.
Yep. I'm gonna go while you're showing that. I'm gonna go and just show folks really quick
Mm-hmm.
what we mean when we talk about the content byline item.
Oh yeah, that'd be great because that is like one of my things, right? Because I am, even though I edit so many videos for Alex, I am not very familiar with a lot of the where things are. So it's like I don't, for me, so I'm trying to understand if I'm trying to make a change here, what do I need to call, right?
Oh, what is it? I don't think I'm supposed to share this one on stream. Oops. No, I really should
Everybody,
not.
close your eyes.
Well, these people, it doesn't matter. There we go. So a content byline item, particularly, is maybe I have to go to another page inside here. This, this is the byline item
Okay, yeah. So in this
right in
case,
here. Yeah.
your app is gonna be doing a change in that specific
Yep.
area.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the key, from my understanding, the key was, let me open my thing over here. The key is just basically an internal name or something that that when it runs the app itself requires. It has,
Right.
the user doesn't get
The,
to see this at all.
right. But the key is how they. This is the key is how the app itself references these things.
Yes. So inside the app is, it's internal to the app. So the
Right.
user doesn't get to even see that, right?
Yeah. Think about a database
Uh-huh.
and how databases have primary keys, and that key is how you will reference that's the unique identifier for that that database tables row.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea of keys here. So I know that this key opens the Confluence content byline item.
Yeah, similar to like your house key, right? You just, that
Right.
key only belongs to your house. Doesn't belong to any other house. Hopefully. But yeah. And then title is just the title that user does get to see that. So that will show.
Yep.
So that's basically a title. The description, I don't know if I've ever seen the description. I don't know if the user gets to see the description or if that's something that is.
Yeah. I wonder if it's actually let's see. Oh man, I just typed manifest, I think, yeah.
Let me let me see if I can. I don't know if I have it running.
Um I think so the description is and the nice part is this is we every it's all documented here. We can come learn like so people can come they can all come here and learn about this. I'm looking for module. Oh, that's because we're probably not on. Oh, I have to go two modules. Right, there we go. Okay. If I go to one of these modules,
Ronnie.
okay, here we go. Where's the
Ronnie.
description?
Ronnie says if you've used mass-produced locks and haven't talked to a locksmith, I've got a bit of bad news for your house keys.
Maybe is it in here somewhere? Oh, come on.
I don't know if they document that because a lot of the documentation, it's not completely thorough, right?
Never. You couldn't say.
Like I want to tell Alexa, hey, can I just have access to your documentation and I'll update it as I go learning my.
Oh, this is. Let me tell you. This is a thing that I feel like every person. Oh, hold on. Maybe it's in common modules. No, because those are absolutely different modules. So like, yeah, I don't know what description is, but it is like an internal description of what the thing does at the most. But what it looks like every time they're doing it looks like it
Mm,
is literally going to tell you what the app does.
yeah, so basically tell you what the app does. I just don't know if the user gets to see that or not.
I don't think so. I don't think they ever get to see that.
Okay, so then the
But
next line, what do we have next? So,
resource.
resource. Resource
Is it one
in,
for you?
huh?
Oh, you got this. Go ahead.
Resource, that is a reading, right? That's when you read something, right? The resource, so in this case, main is reading, right? Or am I
I
wrong?
believe so. Let's see. This is the best. Um, resources. That's different. Because we're under.
Yeah, because we're under the module. So what does it do under the modules? The
Right, we can go look at exact module and it'll tell us. So Confluence, content byline item. Well, it might tell us. This is the fun part, as we just pointed out. It does not tell us.
okay, let me think. So main. What did it have? Let me see what I cover on that part. Again, we're all learning here, not experts.
Yeah. Is main. Oh, hold on. I got it. It is actually related to resources because look down at resources.
Well, it comes out in resources, right?
Right, the key is main. So this is telling you this is what it's doing. What is the resource for
For the module.
for the module that you're going to exactly.
Okay. So then,
Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. Duh. I didn't pass it by. It's the if you're using custom UI or modern versions of UIKit, it's the key of a static resources entry.
hmm,
Yeah, that your module will display. So right, it's the static UI or static code that it's gonna display.
okay,
So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and images. So it's
okay.
saying the UI that you're going to see for this content byline item is going to be called is in the resource main.
Oh, and the resource. Oh, I see. So it's calling the main function, like
Yeah,
function.
or it's calling the main resource. In other
I
words, what
see.
it's really doing when you say resource main is it's saying go to source frontend index JSX
Uh,
and load that.
okay, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I know the render native that basically tells the app I'm using the native UI from the environment.
UI kit. Yeah.
Yeah, UI kit.
Hmm.
Because since it's a UI kit version, it's not a custom. It uses native here.
Yep. Resolvers
Servers. What are servers?
or resolvers.
Is that different?
Yeah, resolvers are
That's in the code. It's something it calls, right? Yes, I've seen it.
yeah. So this is a JavaScript thing.
Yeah.
A resolver in JavaScript is the thing that allows you to define backend functions
Mm.
and handle async events for your UI kit and custom UI app.
And the reserver area is also where you put the API calls, right? If I'm not
Yes,
wrong. Yes. So
that's
it goes
right.
in the back. Yeah. Yeah. So that's telling
Exactly.
us we're using this function called reserver, which
Resolver.
which is in the back end
Yep.
that you can do all the back end stuff plus your API calls.
Right, which is over and basically is so if we look here,
Yeah, it's in one of these ones.
it's right here.
Yes.
So here's where it imports it and then imports the API properties,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where the code is. Yep. I went too far, didn't I? No.
This is fun learning a line together.
It really is.
I mean, it beats talking to an AI who doesn't talk
Yeah.
back. Say dynamic properties function. I have not seen that before. What is this
So that's
dynamic?
so this is probably directly related to the Confluence content byline item, so we can go check it out. And dynamic properties are
Oh, there it
It
is.
contains a function property, which references the function module that defines the configuration of the resource. Luckily, we can see dynamic properties for more details.
Oh, I don't like how it goes from one link to another link to another link to another.
Okay, so dynamic properties are, this makes sense. They're used to dynamically update the title, icon, or tooltip properties of the content byline item
Oh,
module.
okay. So that way you don't have to take care of it somewhere else.
You don't have to reload the entire
It just
page.
does it
Exactly.
automatically. Okay.
Yep. So if it's in there, then content attempts to retrieve the dynamic properties on the initial render of the app.
Okay.
And so then when you click it, the app gets rendered and it's like the byline item. When you click it, the app renders in the dialog where it can perform business logic updates. And then you close it, it checks again to retrieve updates.
Mm.
So it's a tiny little app inside an app. To just like, but it's just basically so we don't have to reload the entire page. So
And
all they're doing here with dynamic properties function get DP is it's saying this is basically the function is get dynamic properties.
okay, so you're just basically telling it
And
to get
again,
that. Okay. You're calling a function
yep,
get.
yep, yep. Well, yeah, the function actually is probably get dynamic
Yeah.
properties. Um, yeah, and just like we were here with resolver, we're basically under this module, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, for the resolver, we're going to use the function
Mm-hmm.
resolver, and you're going to reference it by that name resolver because
Oh,
that's its key. For dynamic properties, you're going to use the function get DP, and that's how you're going to reference it by its key.
And then you do the handler, which I think if we go to the code, I think that handler is calling that code. It's called index that handler.
Right. Yeah, so you'll find that in source index handler, most likely. So yeah, if we go to the code here and we go, oh no, I was wrong. Oh, what?
Too far.
Aha. It's actually in index. That's why it's index dot handler.
Yeah, like when you're okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, because you're calling the file index.
So it's exporting, and you see it's exporting the handler from the resolvers. So then if we go back and we look at the resolvers in here, it's so basically what it's done here is we have created a resolver and then exported the constant handler.
Okay.
Which is this whole thing. We created the resolver. We basically set it up to do async calls to understand is it approved or not. And then we exported that entire thing as a constant variable called handler, which runs resolver.get definition.
Which is defined up on the top somewhere there.
Yeah, right here. So we do resolver define. Resolver define. That might be a.
Oh, it's in the.
Where is it?
It has to be in somewhere else then. Wait. No. It's being called. If you go back, it's import. It's being where that import resolver from Forge resolver. It's calling.
Oh right, get definitions is going to be
to
be inside the
package.
The package, right?
Package.
Okay.
Definition inside the package.
Yep, that makes sense. Oh right, because resolver define is get approval status, so it's defining that what we're going to be doing is this. Okay, right, and so get definitions is just effectively a function call built into the module.
Awesome.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel
we're
like
understanding
so
something
much more now. Yeah, and when we were looking at the other one, get DP works basically the same way. That's in server, and I believe I think the reason that that's in server actually, is because this is API.
So they separate the API work. I see.
Right, you separation of concerns.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and there's a great page that they have on. Oh, they're starting to drop them, Lina.
Oh.
Teamwork graph modules, so that you can access the teamwork graph directly from your apps. You don't have to just go through Rovo.
I wonder if it works though.
It's probably an EAP.
Okay.
Yeah, Interactive rich previews. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. I got very
You're like
excited
squirrel.
by the teamwork graph because once we have the ability to access the teamwork
Mm-hmm.
graph directly, you can use the without having to go through like Rovo, which is going to be a bit non-deterministic because it's
Uh-huh.
AI. Um, you'll be able to understand the relationships between users in a graph structure that you can then consume inside your app.
Mm.
So if I want to understand, if I want to be able, and I can do it more directly, so I can say I'm feeding you this information from the teamwork graph, Rovo. Now you do X, Y, or Z instead of saying, "Oh, I hope you'll find the right thing for me when I ask you."
Yeah, Robo needs some help. It's not there yet.
Yep, but right there is a page here. If I go to guides, yes,
They
app
have so
architecture.
this page for the Forge developers or Atlassian developer that Atlassian, they have been updating it. I've noticed that.
Oh yeah, they work really,
Because
really. It's really great.
when I started trying to
Um,
figure this out, it was just driving me nuts. I was like, this nothing makes sense here.
yeah, and they have a bunch of example apps and guided
Mm-hmm.
tutorials, the whole glossary. But what I want to find is where is the page? They have a great image somewhere that sort
In
of
the chat, can you
shows.
guys see
The,
the screen, or do you guys need him to zoom in a little more?
oh my God, everybody went so quiet. You and I are just like so
I
nerding out
know.
right now.
'Cause I love talking about this stuff. I can't do. I don't know. I'm so odd. I feel like I'm an oddball when I'm hanging out with family or people who are not in like
Yeah, I feel that.
they're trying to talk to me. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not interested in that topic.
One of the things I think that's important to understand, and maybe I'll just see if it's in the architecture. I'll go here, events and
Oh,
triggers. Yeah, but I want. There's a page that literally gives you. Ah,
yeah. Brittany said
here
if
we
you can
go.
zoom in a little bit more,
This
please.
image. Okay, this image
Oh,
right
I've never
here.
seen that.
Yes. So this image helps you understand the
Rodney's playing the
way
game. I
that
gotta
Forge
check that one,
works.
Rodney. I still the weekend. I have the weekend.
I love this because now we can
Oh, there's a
understand.
fourth page.
You can see very
Oh, okay.
yeah, you can see very clearly the separation of concerns with Forge Bridge, which Forge Bridge uses that resolver to access events and the
Is
API.
this
This whole thing is the
so?
Forge
Is the
runtime.
Forge bridge what's supposed to make the Forge apps more secure? Is that why? Hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, is that's why?
And I
Yeah.
believe Forge Bridge is a specific. I don't know. I know that there are effectively like all JavaScript does the same sort of separation
Mm-hmm.
of concerns, but I think Forge Bridge is Atlassian's like middleware layer where they're doing a bunch of stuff in between to make things more secure, like you
I
said,
see. Okay. Yeah, and if we look at the little gray
and
boxes,
packaging it up. Yeah.
they each have like a overall product. Like the top ones is product front end browser area. That's where the UI
Yep.
kit and the custom UI run.
Right. That's where like I'm the user. I'm sitting there. That's where I'm working.
And then the internet
Yep.
on this side.
Yep. That's where it's going to grab other stuff. Or like if you're using Forge Remote to call some third party
Mm.
system, is right there. And then you notice that the Forge runtime, like it interacts with the cloud, but it doesn't live in the same part of the cloud. So again, we've got separation here to protect the data. And we third-party APIs run through an API gateway. So do Forge Remote, or like remotes. So that's protecting, just like if you would set up an API gateway with AWS, same sort of a thing. Yeah,
Okay, so this kind of makes it a little more clear on where things are and how they run and the secureness, and then why it
yeah.
kind of makes sense. I would like to see, I guess, a concept of how. Oh, I guess the because Atlassian it's
Like how one app you run, like how where your pieces of your app would be.
no, I'm saying because the old apps, right? That Fortune, I mean that Atlassian is trying to push out of a Connect, right? Yeah, they
Connect,
don't have
yeah.
any of
Hmm.
these structures, so.
Yeah, because Connect primarily did the difference with Connect primarily was you did not have this
Mm,
back end part. So you did not have all of this stuff, like well, I'll say this, all of this stuff, the Forge
mm.
runtime stuff right here, you had to handle all of that. You had to host all of that.
That means you were hosting data, right?
Oh,
You're hosting other people's data too, right?
you were hosting other people's data. You were hosting the code for your application as well that was
Mm,
actually running, and it was interacting with the product APIs over here. But yeah,
okay.
exactly. So exactly, and like so, like storage and queue, you were doing a lot of all of that
Mm,
yourself. Almost all the way, almost like all the way into like over here
mm.
is where we were, and it was just the product APIs doing their thing. But everything else we were managing. Connect has its backend, yeah, like I said, it has its backend resources on your own cloud infrastructure.
Okay.
So, yep, Atlassian had not yet built the capacity to host other people's backend resources on their infrastructure. One of the benefits of using Forge is that you do not have to manage your own infrastructure at all.
Okay. When we finish with with the manifest module, in the file, I would like to. I just still
Yeah.
don't understand how the whole charging thing is gonna happen in Forge, right? So maybe we can look at that
Oh,
after
sure.
we
Yeah,
finish this,
absolutely.
because I feel like it'd be a good
Yep.
thing for developers to understand, like at what point, what is the cut off line where they're gonna get start charging for running things.
Yes. It's it is a little confusing. Well, I think the hard part is, and I mean, Atlassian has started to add information that will help you like you can get a report now
Mm.
to see. So we're back in the manifest. We got through here. So now we're at
I
function.
think functions are just basically calling the specific functions that you're handling, right?
Yep.
Well, that thing,
Right. That we
yeah.
just
So
showed people.
the basically, yeah, and then it's so this basically is like inside the UI. This is what's happening.
Right. These are these are well. Do you want to explain to people what a function is?
So a function is like it tells it collects a piece of code that does specifically one thing, right? And it groups it kind of helps you organize the functionality of something so that you can, instead of you having to write that code over and over and over, you just call that specific function wherever you need it.
Yep. So a function is a thing that does an
Hmm.
action effectively. So it takes an action to give you a result.
Yeah, and you it
Um,
basically allows you to, like I said, collect it into well, the functionality into one area or into one function, so that it's just easy to call it instead of having to duplicate the code over and over. Creates cleaner code.
and this and it's one of the reasons why function lives underneath module. Because in like PowerShell and other things, modules are a collection of functions.
Hmm. Bob has a comment here.
Um,
Says not just in the UI, the functions in the manifest file. What functions are in the
yes.
scope of the module? Yes, correct, correct. Yeah, thank you.
Right. So you have to use functions that are in scope for the
Mm-hmm.
module itself. So you're basically defining I'm using this module and I'm going to use these functions that are a part of this module, right, Bob? In other words, because what you're doing is effectively with your manifest, you are declaring to the app, to Confluent, to Atlassian, what your app is
Yes.
allowed to do. So if your app tries to do something that is not defined in the manifest, it won't allow it, and that's a security
Mm-hmm.
protection.
Resources. So
Resources.
resources are. Let me see my notes. What did I put? Resources are. Give me a minute.
Bob said think object-oriented
Ah,
programming.
okay.
It's funny. That means things to you, not me.
That's it.
I never learned like
I,
the fundamental concepts of object-oriented
yeah, I
programming.
gotta relearn some of them because it's been a while, and I feel like some of them I didn't learn correctly. Okay, so resources, I put links module behavior to actual code files. So whatever the modules need to do, it basically links it to an actual file. Or what file are we calling, right?
Right, and I
The,
think particularly the resources are the stuff that you're
mm-hmm,
sending up. If so, this is the stuff that you're adding, right? We talked about how one of the differences between Forge and Connect is that you had to host your own backend infrastructure. So that's why what we don't see in here is a bunch of code for backend infrastructure because that's what because Forge is handling that. That's why the only thing we have here is source
mm-hmm,
front end. Um, because it's going because that this is the front end static resources, static HTML, CSS, and such that we're going to use in combination with the native renderer, which looks like this. This is where I lose my mind a little
okay.
bit.
So what were we looking at again? I lost my train left the station.
This is index.js. So this is the
Okay, my
JSX
train is.
code, which is the
Yes, so this
React
is this
code,
is what is running when the app runs. It calls these.
right? This is the
Mm-hmm.
front end
And
UI.
it returns basically at the bottom where it says return is it's like the actual thing that the uses. That's like HTML kind of like that.
Yeah, JSX is intentionally like a
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
mushing
yeah. It
together.
combines both of them together. So
Yep, and we could
here, let's see.
um,
Is approve equals state no. Okay, approve. Okay, so it can either call approve or an approve. So it has two things there.
yep,
And then okay, so it's oh I guess it's gonna show the thumbs up approve or the thumbs down is approve. And so the
exactly.
person gets to
Yep,
do the user when they see the app, they're gonna either see these or they're these. Yeah.
yep. And this is like use effects, some of
Mm-hmm.
these other things. This is very
Yes,
specifically
those come
React.
from React. Those, as you can see up on the top,
Yeah,
the first line it shows us that they come from there.
right. So we're actually, this is another thing that's interesting. We are using
Mm-hmm.
React. So we're importing React.js. Like we're using these modules from
Mm-hmm.
React.js. We're actually like we're importing use effect and use state from the React. I don't know the different ones here, but like this is the big thing. This is the middle thing. This is the smaller
Yeah,
things.
so the React is the
When we're scoping
library.
them down.
It's kind of like
Okay, I did big R,
then
little r
yeah.
is the library.
So
Little
let's
r
see, how do we
library.
call it in here?
And Tim, yeah, as soon in just one moment, we're gonna get through this. We'll have a chat. We'll go through that
Yeah.
conceptually as well. I think I figured it out.
Okay, if you want to go back at I think unless you want to cover something else in here.
Yeah, no, this is just so I built myself. I'm going to be working on something else that we're working on that I haven't gotten to tell everybody about yet. Is we're going to be launching Forge OSS, forge-oss.org, which is going to be a
Mm-hmm.
homepage for Forge open
Oh,
source development.
nice.
So all of the things that I build in or work on with folks in the clinic or that we build here, as we go forward and do more stuff with people, if we build them, they're going to be open source. If we're building them live on screen, we already built them live
Well,
on
I guess they're
screen.
live, right?
Right, and most they're going to be patterns or things that you can
Yeah.
use
So
over and over again.
don't give
And we
personal
also want
information or proprietary information.
right, but what it'll allow folks to do is, have more Forge code samples that aren't just coming from
Well, not only
Atlassian.
that, it'll have AI can access your code.
Yeah. But like one of the things that is a struggle is sometimes you're like, well, I want an example of this thing. And unless Atlassian has made an example of it, you don't have anything because almost all of the Forge code written is written by marketplace partners who don't want to give it
Yeah.
out because this is what they run their businesses
True.
on.
True.
So this I think open source is one of the reasons JavaScript is so big is because of the open source community. So the more people that we can get learning Forge because they have more patterns to understand how it works because they can see more things in
Mm-hmm.
action, the more that people can learn Forge and will be more motivated to learn it. So that's the goal. And the reason I bring that up is that like a lot of this, one of the things I built was actually, this is just with HTML and CSS and freaking good old Claude, but it's a parser for React code. So that I can put in React code and it explains how it works to me.
Okay.
Because I look at this and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, here's this arrow thing. Like, what is happening?
It's just some syntax that
But
because the thing inside the brackets is what's is waiting for. So it's doing a wait to.
yep,
So if the
yeah.
person goes, if approve is so if approve is true, it's gonna invoke set is approved to true, right? If approve is
Mm-hmm.
false, then it's gonna set it to false. No, it's gonna feed that false to that set is approved. Where is it? Approve button. Oh, yeah, it's gonna set that variable right there. So then that variable will either be true or false, and then based on that, it will do
Yeah.
the thumbs up or the thumbs down thing.
Yes, absolutely. And and I think this is where it will help folks to see. I was trying to see if I could find my, um, sometimes I feel like I lose things in Claude
Ah,
because I'm trying to find my, where I had it put together my like little parser, because that thing it's an artifact and I can throw stuff in it and be like, okay, help me understand this
can you do
React code.
folders in Claude?
You can do,
Because it has like
no, not
because then
completely.
like
Yeah,
ChatGPT is just such chats, right? It's just a list of things.
you can do projects there too, but like it is tricky.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I have to figure that out. I'll figure out where it is. I was asking it a whole bunch of things about React,
Can you ask it to
and
find it for you?
yeah, I'll be really. I know, like honestly, can you find the link of the one where I did this? Because it would be really nice. Because I would like to be able to show people. I have this really big idea of this thing I want to build, which might be like the only thing that I wouldn't. But this is the thing that I actually need teamwork graph access
I
for,
see.
uh, which would be like an employee sentiment analysis add-on. I was trying to see if I have anything. I don't know where it is. Okay. So annoying. Oh, I get mad when this happens. But maybe can I
You
ask
should
Claude?
try
I'm
it.
gonna try. Hey
Tell him
Claude.
you were having a conversation with it.
And we were having a conversation about and you built me an artifact that was a React parser. I can't find it now. Can you help me? All right. Anyway, um, I don't have access to. It says I don't have access to any of the artifacts we created in our past chats. Well, I do, and that's what I'm confused about,
it should.
Claude.
It should, since you have an account, have access to it.
Yeah,
Huh.
it should. It should. Um. Okay. Brian, you have to stop getting distracted, which is what's happening right now.
You wanna you wanna go back and finish that
That's yeah.
manifest file? I think we're almost there.
Yes, yes,
That
we
way,
do.
that way,
All
that way
right,
you can get
all
to
right.
Brian's.
Then we can get to Tim. We can
I
get
mean,
to
the
Tim's
Tim's push.
Tim's thing. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's get back to the manifest file. All right.
Okay, here. Where were we?
Oh, permissions!
Permissions basically
Yay!
tells the app what do you have access to, what are you allowed to do, right? That is, and it has to be specific, right? Depending on where it's running. Like here we have read confluence props, write confluence props, but it's only that specific area. And then read confluence content dot summary. So it's only allowed to do those three things. Other than that, it can't get anything else from there. And then it has the external one is accessing uh I guess the website for Atlassian, right? An image from the website for Atlassian.
Oh, yes, exactly. External images. So this is allowing. I think the whole reason that this exists, I believe, from the let's just see here. I think actually on the main page is because you have to
Oh, there is
have.
a sample there, I guess.
Yes, here's the app instructions over here. Nope, they just did this again. Okay, but there's a place here. There's. I'm pretty sure they have a actual tutorial
They
for
probably
this.
do.
Uh, but it explains because I think it's the emojis. That's how you're getting the emojis,
Oh, I see. Wait.
and they're
Hmm.
work. Yeah, because they host the
Oh, I
emojis,
see.
but they're hosted on a CDN. I think.
Oh,
I think that's why they end up having to do that specifically. And then this app
yes. So
part
that
down
app
here.
there is basically that one. What did I had on that one? That is what the key. I know that the IDs in there, which they don't show obviously because they don't want to put that publicly. But uh,
Yeah, that's why the key isn't there right now. Yeah, because this
those,
is an example. When you do forge create, it will generate a
yes,
key that goes in
yes.
there.
So
That's a
the
very
user does
specific
not get to
key
create
for
that
the.
key. The force create generates it for you, and don't change that key or else it won't work. And then so the app
Right.
is the basically the setup for the runtime environment. So it tells it in this case it tells it this is new, this Node.js 20. It just started coming out recently. It has to do with, let me see.
You can do different
Yeah, so
runtimes.
the
So
how do I explain this?
these are. I mean, this is basically like the version of. It's the version of the
Yeah.
Node.js
Yeah,
software.
so there's different ones. And I think Atlassian supports I think it was 18 and up, right? Or do I get it wrong?
Yes, I think they're moving to 20 and up though, because I think 22 actually
Yeah,
just came
22
out.
just came out.
It moves very
Yeah,
quickly.
and some things that are missing in this here, which I see in the, I think you've seen it too when you create like a Porsche create, right? There's a memory MB, which tell you
Yes.
how big I guess the app is or something.
it's basically you can, so four taps come with a certain amount of default
Also,
memory
you can change that.
to run into. Yeah, exactly. So you can change that so that you can have more memory if you
Yeah,
need to.
and so it'll tell you the memory and it'll tell you the architecture. So you can what architecture is going to be running on, right? And then obviously what we're missing here also the ID, which is usually ID colon AR colon cloud colon system colon app, and then backslash, and it's your like the unique ID for your app. It's like basically like an address that when your app is running, it knows that it's that specific app.
Yes. And then next, so we're going to go on and cover some
Hmm.
stuff for Tim here. There's a few other things that show up this is the main structure of the manifest, but you can have other things in the
Yes.
manifest. But we will cover more of that later. And then the other thing we will cover next time, because it's a thing that always gets me confused, is environments. Because environments do not, like, you can install a production, you can install a development app in a production environment, but you don't even know that these environments sometimes exist, and they do not align necessarily with the versions of like your sandbox app. Like your sandbox site is not necessarily considered a development site
No, I
as
think it's
well.
considered production, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, oh yeah. So translations is another one that exists. Remotes. So this is like the required remote services. Again, security here. What are the endpoints? Authentication
Hmm.
providers. Is it still using some Connect modules? Those are the other ones.
Yeah, I'll look into the environments and
And then,
maybe we can cover that next week.
yep. Okay, so here's what Tim wants to
Mhm.
figure out. So Tim's problem. We can bring Tim on again. Let me grab a link for him. I have his email. I think.
Learning forged
Did you
together
email me?
by trial and error.
Yes. Let me see. I think he sent it here.
And I feel like that's the way we learn, right? Because when I started my first job, coming out of straight out of college, in college they teach you certain things, but when you get an actual job, it's nothing that you learn in college. So you kind of learn it as you go by asking questions, by doing, making mistakes,
Yep.
and I feel like
All right,
yeah.
Tim.
Go ahead.
Tim. I just sent you an email with the link. So what Tim is trying to do, and we can talk about it while he joins, is last time we talked, Tim so here's Tim's problem. Tim's problem is, and let me change. Can I move this all? Oh, I can't. Perfect. Over to that, and then we'll go. Oh, wow, that's not what I wanted to do. Why computers are you like this? They just want to be mean to me. Here we go. Well, it's because I'm using Arc, and I like it, but it also means that like it's a very special little
Wow,
snowflake.
college was not very good
As
at
a
teaching me how to learn. I got I discovered how I learned after I finished college, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's really true. Okay, so here's what Tim's problem is. We're gonna get
Oh, yes,
into
'cause,
another.
Bob did say
Re-
supposed to teach you. Yeah,
that is true. He
yeah,
did
yeah.
say
He
that.
was
All right, so
supposed.
let's get into Atlassian administration. Let's see if Tim is able to pop in still. Um, okay, so we'll go into here, and I'll share my screen again.
I'm still learning. uh,
All right. So Tim's issue is that, and I think we talked. Oh, Bob, and we talked about this too. You showed up after I think a little later. There's Tim.
Hey,
Yes. Hey,
how's it
Tim.
going?
Good, good, good. So Tim, Bob did say that he's pretty certain what's going on
I did
here.
watch the
Do I
recording
get to?
back
Can I move?
after. Yeah, I only missed him by a few minutes. I was kicking myself.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Um, I'm gonna try to figure out a way. We don't get to choose. We just get to like.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. That's what I want. There we go. Yeah. Um, Bob said that what we're experiencing is probably it is the residue, as I think you pointed out, of Atlassians trying to make uh, different levels not different,
That's certainly
like not
possible.
treating
The reason,
epics as like super
yeah, the
special.
reason I think that might not be true is, as you pointed out to Bob, and I pointed out in our conversation, uh, stuff above an epic, you can see both in the backlog and in the active sprint, right? So that means that they have to be doing something that is purposefully not showing the epic in the backlog. So it
Well,
could
yes,
be residue for sure, but it could also be that they're still opinionated about it.
that's true. So right, so what Tim is trying to do is you used to only be able in the old new UI. So the cloud UI before this one, you could see epics in the backlog, but not in the active sprint. So epics would not show
Mm-hmm.
up here, but they would show up here. Now they don't show up here, but they do show up
And
here.
this is in a Kanban board or a Scrum board?
Scrum
Scrum
board,
board.
yeah. Kanban board lets you do anything you want, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scrum boards don't, and that's the challenge.
Um,
Probably because Scrum particularly wants to. I mean, well, that I see why you say that it could be about the
so
opinion.
he wants to be able to see
Um,
his epics in the backlog.
yeah, what I think you want to do ultimately, Tim, is to be able to have a way to rank epics.
Yes, I would like to be able to for epics to be treated no differently than stories
Oof.
inside of a sprint board. That's what I ultimately want.
Yeah, and I don't know if we can do all of that. I mean, well,
Well,
actually,
yeah,
that's
the
not true.
short
We
version is
could. Let's be fair,
because you
we
can
could.
do that already in the active sprint, like you pointed out, right? So like that is now permissible. So in order to get to that
Right. So
world,
all you
all you need,
need,
that's right, all you need is to be able to see the epics in the backlog and be able to rank them. That's right. Yeah.
right. So here's where I have come on my proposed solution. And my proposed solution is going to look
You
something
you can see the
like,
epic panel.
Yeah.
yeah, but you can't, yeah, but you can't do the ranking.
Yeah, that's true.
So just a little context why we care about this. So at the end of the day, issue types are arbitrary, right? So we just need an issue type that we agree upon as an organization to define the user deliverable, right? The thing that we're giving to a customer that they
Yep.
care about. And then underneath that, we are going to do, some front end coding, some back end coding, some testing. And so those child tickets underneath that user deliverable are, the things that are tracking those more execution type items. And so, as long as we as an organization agree on what issue type represents that customer deliverable and what issue type represents those execution items, what we pick to represent those ultimately doesn't matter. So, it could be that story and subtask represent those two levels, or it could be epic and story represent those two levels. The reason we as an organization have chosen Epic to represent that customer deliverable and stories to represent those execution items is because of the flexibility that Epics provide for you to share child work items across multiple different Jira projects. So we might have a shared deliverable, but between two teams. And so we want the execution items underneath that shared deliverable to be represented in the different Jira projects they need to be in. Whereas you cannot do that same thing with subtasks if the subtasks represent those
Right.
execution items and the story is a customer deliverable. So we're kind of just by the nature of our the way we're organized, we could choose to do it differently, but it doesn't really matter, right? So we just, it's easier for us to live in a world where the epic is the deliverable and the story is the execution items because of the limitations on subtasks. But that means that we would still like to be able to treat those epics as what they are, the customer deliverables, inside of a sprint cadence, right? So that's why we're trying to do this.
Can you
Right.
make? I know it's puzzle, but how do you call them? Something that is, because I know I think I understand what he wants, because he wants to be able to have at least 2 levels, right? That
Yeah,
he's
but
able
in
to
this
rank.
case,
And right now with the
yeah, in
current
this,
Atlassian way, right? We have the epic, then the story, and under the story you have the subtasks. So what he wants is to be able to have like
yeah,
2 things. One, they're like these, but then he can rank those 2, right?
yeah. Let me just check something. Oh, hold on 1 second. Our dog poop guy is here, and I think the dogs can all get
Okay,
out. I'll
okay.
be right back. You guys
Yeah,
can
no
keep
worry.
talking.
I'm trying to figure out, because I've seen where you can create an initiative, right? And I think the initiative might show because it's a custom made. I just don't know how to do it. Bob,
Busy. Go ahead.
I can't hear it. I cannot hear you. It sounds very.
Come on, doggos. Come on.
Oh, Brian's not
Come
there.
on.
I mean, Tim is not there. Let me see.
Okay. So the only solution that Tim really needs at this point is a way to rank.
He needs to be able to. So he wants to be able to rank something that's a high in hierarchy here and something that's here, right? He wants to rank those 2, right?
Well, no, no, at this point, no. All he needs to do is be able to have a list of epics and be able to drag them up and down,
But
much like you can in the backlog. So we just want to recreate the backlog. That's what we want to do, I think.
Work types. Can he add another work type that is at a higher level, and then use that to put stories under?
Oh wait, Tim, are you back? Sorry, I think I saw you come in and out. If you do it again, Tim, I'll let you in.
I'm not a Euro admin, but I've seen, because like from watching, right, the videos that I edit, is it possible for him to just create another work type?
I mean, it's sure like no, okay, so it is. It is
Mm-hmm.
possible. But
That sits at the same level as the epic, right?
no, not at the same level of the epic. I don't think you can. That's part of the thing here. Well, but no, you okay? Sarah is his admin. You can't then link the story. Oh, right. This is the other thing. You can't then link the story level to the higher level. You cannot. Jira forces you to follow hierarchy. But Lina's saying if you set something that is just like an epic at the same hierarchy,
Because at that point it's custom to you, right? So you should be able to see it in the backlog and be able to move it, right?
Yeah, but like at this point,
let me try something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you work on that, but here, at this point, I just want to figure out how to build the thing that there's a way to build this thing that will solve that problem in the moment at least, which is here it is. I found it. Okay, I couldn't remember what it was called. So, what I think, Tim, you can't skip level parent and child, right? Exactly. But Sarah, what if you created another work type at the same work item type at the same level as Epic?
How do I do this?
It's just Command K and then look up work type
Command
hierarchy.
K. Command K. Work.
Oh, there's Tim. Oh, new issue type at same level does not work. They've tried it. So what I think we would want to do here, okay, Tim. So yeah, I can see you, but yeah, we can't hear you. You're not on the video anymore. I don't know where you went. You're here, but I don't. That's very weird. It's like he's here but not here. Oh, there he is. Like no. Oh, there he is. There's Tim. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, Tim.
Can
There
you
we
hear me?
go.
Check, check.
Wait. Okay. Why can't I hear you? You're talking.
Check, check.
I can hear
That's
him.
weird. And we're not stopping you from talking, which is wild.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear him?
Oh, okay, cool. You can, well, at least somebody can hear me.
Oh, now I
Oh,
can
okay,
hear
great.
you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Great.
what happened is I'm at a grocery store right now and I switched apps on my phone and I didn't know that was going to break the link. And then it messed everything up.
Gotcha. So what Tim and I were
Mm-hmm.
talking about, Lina, I think the easiest way to do this is to start here. And basically the modules that we're going to need a project page. Because basically what I'm thinking is we build a list. Now the only thing I'm not really sure how we do is how we rank things. But we can create a project page component.
Yeah.
And then inside the project page component, we can put other things.
Yes.
Like like an example of something that we could put in, but we probably have to put a stack in first for the UI. So like, we're going to go get into some UI stuff now. In the user interface, we'd want to use UI kit components, and we would basically a stack manages the vertical layout of direct children. So yeah, that's the stack. And then what we would want would be, or maybe we can use this directly. This is what I'm not sure about. Is a dynamic. Yes, here it is. Actually, this is exactly what we want. Well, I don't know. I have to find out how its reordering works. Is reordering simply sort order, or can I drag and drop? Because this is a dynamic table, rows of data with built-in pagination. So there's our list of epics right there. What I don't know. Oh, there it is. Nope, you sure can. Look, drag of a row. So that you can do ranks. So the next question is we can definitely use a dynamic table to load a list of issues. Here's an example of it's just doing a simple one, which is you're creating a constant and then you're exporting it in here, and here's the list of the information that you're using. And then you can dynamically drag the list of these presidents up and down. There's the drag and drop, which would give the rank with is rankable. So we'll need a table. We will need to use the table as well to make it easier to read. That's fine. It says use tables to make content easier to read. Use only relevant. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We're using the dynamic table. So dynamic table should give you a dynamic table on a project page should, Tim, give you the ability to then, like, you're going to import your rows. It won't be from /data, but you're going to import it from whatever the filter that you build. You're going to call a filter there with the Jira API. So in Forge Bridge, where is it? I don't know. I forget where they do this. Project REST APIs. Yeah, you can call. Yeah, you in Forge API, and you can call. Then you can get. Then you can call the APIs to get information, which would be your filter that you'd be using, which would then load the issues into a list that you could then sort. So that's the path that I think makes the most sense.
Sounds like a good game plan.
Yeah. And you can use, I guess, yeah, you can use the context if you need to find out what the app is. But yeah, the product context API is out there too. Yeah, so I think that's what makes the most sense. What I don't have, and I wonder if they've built one yet. Let me see. Do they have a? Let's see here. That's a Jira Project Stats app. So that is. No, that's going to use a little pop-up. Okay. So this is global page. Let me see here. I always wonder, Jira global page. No, that adds it. See, that adds it in the applications. Oh, I mean, I guess actually that's what you might use, because are you going to do that? You're going to want to do this for every project, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I guess you would actually use the global page module, because you're going to want it. It's basically you're going to want it to show up for each project independently, and then it'll use the product. It'll use the context to understand what project it's in, and then you'll be loading a list of issues based on a filter.
Okay, yeah, good. Because I was about to ask, would it be
So
just off of the project or off of a filter? Because if it's just the project
you
ticket,
I think you should be able to define the filter.
say that again.
You can define
Yeah,
a filter.
that'd be perfect.
Yeah, you can use. Yeah, you can call it. Well, you can use the request Jira API to then go use the API to get a filter. So and the reason I say this is that you can use this project introduction app as an example. You're back here with us. So there we go. I don't think, let's see whether it does any like issue lists or anything here. It does. They do not currently do anything, I think, that does like lists of issues. But man, like I'm wondering with the project introduction, we're like halfway there. And I wonder if it gives us a thing to play off of that would let us. Okay, so it's building a tiny little page here inside the project that people would build. Interesting. Well, okay, let's do this and see what happens, because I'd like to see how far this actually takes us inside of an application. So What do I have open right now? I do have a cursor window open. Actually, gosh, it looks like it's going to be so easy to not even have to. I can just literally do this all from a command line. So we'll use terminal. Okay, replace my screen sharing. Oh, well, am I on another server right now? There we go. Okay. Oh, unable to share the screen. It didn't work. Weird. Replace screen sharing. Window. Terminal. There we go. Okay. First, let me move to where I need to go. So we're going to go to... Okay, Forge, login. One second here. Cool, so now we're going to run the git clone command. Oh, well, that's funny. Do I need? This should be a public repository. Clone. Yeah, friends, I literally tried to do that. That's wild. Well, no, actually, hold on. Didn't I? Let's see. We'll try this one again here. There we go. What did it have me do before? Oh, it tried me to have me do SSH. Ah, I'm going to have an SSH key in there. That makes sense. Okay. So, Forge Jira project introduction. Perfect. So, we're going to just go into... All right, because it's all in here now, I can just easily hit Forge. So what's in that, by the way, just so for the folks who are on here and watching and learning and listening, so I switch back really quick to the other screen. Well, it doesn't like that. I forgot for a moment. Come on. Oh, there we go. What is inside of here now is all of this stuff. So just so everybody knows here, it's going to have this manifest now. It's going to use the Jira Global Page module. This is the key. The resources are at main. There's the UI there, rendering in native, and the title's project intro. If we go look at index.jsx, that's going to show what we're doing here. So this is creating a vertical. This is creating a stack that's going to have the spaces 200 align inline as heading 3 Forge UI. I don't know exactly what the space 200 means exactly, but so this is a bunch of stacked items, and that's how it's building its UI. We would do something similar, but we would then stick in a table, or a dynamic. I think whatever called a dynamic table. So this code already exists in here. Is it using that? I was trying to see if it calls that image anywhere. There's an image. Oh, the image is in here. Oh, okay. Those images in here are just this right here to show us in here. So here's the stack, and then a stack and a stack inside the stack. So that's what we're actually building with that code that we were looking at. Also, something we didn't talk about for folks is package.json. This is the thing that gets generated when you create a new Forge app. And what it basically says is what dependencies are necessary to run. And it is storing this information. There's all these little pieces here. We can learn more about it. But this is the thing that's like, we make sure that you have the stuff that you need to run your app because of the code. Okie doke. So we're in here. We're in here. So what I can do next is I'll switch back over, and we're going to run Forge register. So normally when you're starting a new Forge app, you would run Forge create. But because we have an app's code, we run Forge register. That basically creates an app with what's in the folder that we're in. All right, so we're going to name the app. We're going to call it all right, and just so folks can see what has happened now too, is that the manifest now has some new information, particularly the most important piece is this ID here. That ID got generated when we registered. So the next thing we do is we deploy it to an environment. So we do Forge deploy. By default, it deploys to the development environment unless you specify a different environment. Oh, bundling found. All right. Module not found. Can't resolve Forge React. Oh, I should know this. I mean, I have npm installed globally. I'm pretty sure. Let me just check here. Oh, actually, probably with verbose, we'll give more details. Not verbose, though. Let's try that again. Yeah, I did mean verbose. Thanks for asking. Why does this happen? It's probably something really silly. Okay, right. Forge install. Right. Okay. So we move Forge deploy. I'm missing node files. That's effectively what's happening here. It can't find React, which is I guess do I have to? I didn't think I had to be in the. Oh, I do think maybe I forgot that this is part of the instructions inside of. So, right. We install NVM. You guys can't see what I'm saying. There's a lot of things I love to learn here, or I've learned like 5 times over already. So we installed NVM, Node Version Manager. We install Node initially. But when we get into dealing with the front end, it runs in a React. Yes, you must be on Forge React Major version 10 to upgrade your app to the latest version. Run in, yes, okay. Apparently, you have to run this in every single location, every single folder where you're doing work. Is that the case? That seems really silly. I want to ask somebody that I know at some point to do that.
Hey,
But
Bryan.
let's switch back.
So I got Alex
Yeah.
here. I don't know if we want to ask Dr. Jura what his idea is on this whole thing. Because I'm like, wait,
Oh, actually, Dr. Giro, what's your idea?
good in, move out.
I'm having fun installing an app, but you tell me what your idea is.
Well,
Tell him the problem.
yeah,
For
what's
Tim.
the problem?
So the problem is that they want to use Epics as the customer deliverable, because it allows you to work across projects in a way that subtasks don't, right? So you can have you can have regular work items underneath that can be in different projects. Makes perfect sense. Of course, the issue that they have is that you can't rank epics in a backlog anymore because the new Jira UI, the new Jira UI, put them back in the board, the active sprint view. This is in a Scrum project. Put them back in the sprint view, but not took them out of the backlog. The old new Jira UI, you could rank them in the backlog.
So 2 workarounds that I would do is you can rank your epics in the timeline, and that'll rank them on that when you expose the epic panel, they'll be ranked there. And then the other one is the plans would allow you to rank them all.
True. Also, but the problem, I think the only problem, I was going to say you could even use a search field, but I think you can't expose the rank field.
But you don't need to expose the rank, especially if you use the plans. It takes your entire scope of what's in your plan and it keeps the rank there for everything across all your projects.
Sarah and Tim, do you all have
Premium or enterprise?
Premium or enterprise?
Yes.
Yeah, Tim, do you have Premium or
Yes.
enterprise?
And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to hop in just a second to for
no,
dinner
we
for
can't.
kids. But I'll say
Oh, cool! I froze everything. Oh,
yes, we
back.
do. And
And then I lost Tim again. Hold on.
check. Can you hear me?
Tried
Check,
it
check.
all?
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
I was saying, unfortunately, I have to run in just a minute for dinner with the kids. But I'll say we do have, I forget which level. We have plans and we use them quite a bit. And so that is an interesting workaround. What I was just thinking though, that might actually be a struggle with the Forge plan that we were just working on, Brian, is in plans, you won't have the sprint buckets that you can plan into.
You do though.
Right.
You definitely can as long as you pull in your boards as your source.
Yeah, in that detail view, I forget what it's actually called. You're talking about, right? Where you create like those columns with the dates and then you align the sprints to
No,
that.
not in the program view. If you when you're
Program, that's
creating your
it.
plan, if your sources can be one of 3 things: a filter, a project, or a board. And if you bring the board,
Right.
it'll bring the sprints with it. So then you can pre-plan the sprints.
Just within like a sprints column in the
Correct.
in the timeline view you're talking about, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we can do that.
Can't or can?
That is a way.
Right.
That would be a big behavior change for a lot of our teams, which probably be the hardest part of that. Instead of doing it right in the backlog view, which they're used to dragging and dropping into the different sprint buckets.
But that's still kind of fine though, because Even if you don't do that, though, it'll still rank your epics in the right order. And when you publish your changes, the rank of the epic will be saved. And when they go back to the board view, your epics are still in the right order. But the plan shows them to you across all your project sources versus they're just going to see that one board.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the one thing, yeah, I mean, so and your concern was just to understand what you were just saying to me now, Tim, the one problem with this idea is how are we going to get the sprints into like a new project? Basically, because what I was doing, Alex, is building effectively a global app page that would then allow us to use a dynamic list or dynamic table that we could then rank in. And then I think where you were going, Tim, is that's great, but then like how do we bring the sprints in if you were building in
Right.
Forge?
Yeah.
And I do think that's possible as well. I'd have to look and see if that's in the modules somewhere, which there's got to be a sprint module.
I would play
Yeah,
around with your
well,
plans
let's
though
see,
in the
sprint
interim.
act.
It will pull in epics from all your
Yeah.
projects and all your boards. You can rank across all your projects and all your boards. And when you publish those changes, in that summary view of all your changes, you will see the rank being updated for all your epics. And as soon as they get pushed, they'll get reordered in the backlog. So when you expose your panel for the epics, they're in the right order.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the ranking in the panel is less critical than the ability to visually add both stories and epics into a sprint. And I hear you saying that you can be able to do that in plans. And like I was saying, that's just a big behavior change for our teams, but that's that.
Yeah, and
people
in fact,
management. That's why we get paid, right? So
yeah, and in fact, well, that's going to be the only way too, because even though this epic can have a sprint field, it's impossible for an epic to be in a sprint.
that's not true.
No, it's very
not true. Not anymore. That's the thing that they've changed.
Yep. So it will show up in the active sprint board. It just won't. It used to only show up in the backlog in line with all of the other tickets, but would not show up in this active sprint board. Now it's the inverse. It will show up in the active sprint board, but it will not show up in line in the backlog view.
Show me, Bryan.
Yep. We tested. Yep. I believe it's is it MLBL4? Is that the sprint? Yeah, that's the epic MLBL4.
So show me that work item in your sprint.
Right here.
Where? Oh, I see it there.
Yep. It now shows up. Yeah, this is the thing.
Why the hell would Atlassian do this?
Yeah. And then so it sounds like this is new. You didn't hear the convo before. So any other level above an epic, you can see both in the backlog view and in the active sprint.
I've always had that
only
problem.
The epic that you can't.
It was always that level 1 would never be visible on the board.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the answer. I mean, why is this? Because I mean, this is what we talked with Bob when we talked about with Bob yesterday. So I think what they're trying, Atlassian is actually trying to do, is remove any difference from any issue, like from any work type, because your hierarchy is so making it more flexible.
I get that, but I've always had a problem. You shouldn't have epics or anything above the epic in your board at all, because by very definition of what those items represent, they violate the definition of a sprint.
So that's where I'm going to disagree.
Yeah, but
how?
Yeah.
So how would you? Yep. Why? How would your team work on a epic during a sprint and expect them to complete the epic within the bounds of the sprint?
Because
if you redefine your epic,
but your epic, it's in the word. It's an epic thing. The whole purpose of the story is supposed to be bite size. You have a hard enough time finishing a story that's like an 8 or 13 or 21, and an epic by definitions are like 21 pointers.
No, they're not.
How?
If you redefine them.
You got to rename them. It can't be epics.
No, you can't. Well, why not? I mean, also,
but you're undoing 20 years of Agile.
Well, I mean, listen. Let's be clear. Let's talk about how well that process worked in the first place. Like Scrum is like we are talking about the most restrictive Agile process that exists today that almost nobody uses wholeheartedly.
I would disagree, but okay.
That's
Why,
fair.
why do
That's fair.
stories, if we get to first principles, why do stories roll over from sprint to sprint?
So I'm gonna flip it a little bit. I'll say, why do sprints exist? Sprints exist to be a forcing factor to drive down the size of your customer deliverable to fit in a 2-week time box, right? That's
Yeah,
the point of
I
a
would
sprint.
agree with that definition. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we really care about are customer deliverables and having tight timeframes on those. That's what we really care about. Whether the naming convention, we don't necessarily really care about, right? So yes, we took stories from XP and epics. Jira doesn't even use epics in accordance with the book definition, right? An epic is a big story.
Oh yeah, no,
You
yeah,
break it down,
right.
and it's supposed to epics don't exist anymore, right? So
Yeah,
we're
epics
already
are just a
breaking.
container within in Jira.
Right, exactly, which is not, what their original intent was. So we're already breaking that standard. So your issue type is arbitrary, right? All we really care about is, do you have an object that represents your customer deliverable, and you want to be able to ship that inside of a sprint time box? And then can you have children underneath that customer deliverable that represents the things you need to do in order to ship that to a customer?
Right.
Build the front end code, build the back end code, testing. So the issue type we assign to those two different levels is completely arbitrary.
Right, but you
You
just
can have it
described the story in a subtask, though.
you did, but what if the limitations of subtasks prevent you from effectively working that way?
Because there are so
Right.
many limitations on
So
some.
let's say if we want subtasks, the child items to be in 2 different Jira projects, that is not allowed at a subtask level. However, it is allowed at a story level. So if we have the epic represent the customer deliverable, and then a level 0 ticket represent those execution activities, those level 0 tickets can be in differing Jira projects, but ladder up to the same customer deliverable, whereas you cannot perform that functionality with a subtask.
Yeah, but I mean, we're definitely getting to taxonomy at this point. But I would argue you would have the appropriate story for the appropriate team and their appropriate board, because the subtask to me is supposed to be a checklist for the developer, not necessarily the task that needs to get done. It's a how, not a what. And we only care about the what's, at least from a Scrum and Agile perspective.
So I'll say that our teams have a lot to keep track of those things, right? So say like if we tell them, here's the customer deliverable, don't break out into the specific execution work that you need to do to make that happen. Just focus on the deliverable. They're going to get lost. They make sense to them to break out and say, okay, here's a change, a code change we need to implement. That's item 1. Here's the second child. Item 2 is a code change we need to make. Here's item 3, which is a testing action we need to do on those things. Item 4, building the test cases for that. Them just managing their day-to-day work works a lot better, having that checklist of those things as children underneath the main customer deliverable.
Right, but why would those checklist items that you just called out belong to different teams?
Different Jira projects.
Yeah, why would they belong to different Jira projects?
There's many reasons. It might be because they do belong to different teams, right? We might have a platform team that owns a particular API, and that API needs to be modified in order to enable the functionality of the full customer deliverable. But our main team doesn't own that API, so they need one of those items to be done by like a platform team, for example. So that's one scenario. Another scenario is how you're leveraging Jira projects, right? So now that Atlassian is pushing team functionality in a big way, we're starting to use teams in Jira to represent teams more. That frees Jira projects.
I would avoid that at all costs, but yeah.
Okay, where it allows us to use Jira projects to represent other things. So now we're starting to align projects to products rather than aligning them to teams. So we've got product A, and that's project A, or I should call them spaces. They're going to change the name too, right? Product B, space B. And then we've got a Jira team represents the team. And so that team might have work items that align to product A and to product B, et cetera, et cetera. So that's another reason.
So I see. So because of the limitations of the subtasks, you're shifting up, but then your epic.
Exactly right.
And this is I've heard this from many teams, many teams, many companies.
Sarah says, why avoid using teams? One simple reason, unless Atlassian fixes this, is anybody can delete a team. So the last thing I want to do is build an entire architecture and dependency across my teams and have some person just come and go, what does this button do? And then delete the team. And then
I don't think you can. Can you delete teams
within the last 2 months? I've tested this, and you can any member with any privilege can delete a team.
Even if it's skin synced.
That I don't know. I've never
Have you
skin synced a team yet. It's an EAP.
Okay, because no, it's not an EAP anymore. Actually, I can answer this question for you right now, actually. I would bet you can't delete them because skin sync teams are effectively groups linked to your IDP, and so you cannot delete those.
Right. I mean, at that point, it's a managed group. At that point,
right. Yeah, which is what teams always should have been.
Well, my point exactly. But that's the reason why I don't use teams, because if you're using the native team out of Jira, then it's garbage. If
Hey,
you're
fellas,
gonna do
I gotta run.
Thing,
yeah.
I gotta go. I appreciate the debate.
I'm about to pick it up again.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love to keep debating you on this topic for sure.
It
was a great conversation. Thanks, y'all, and I look forward to watching the rest of this recording later.
Also, Alex, take care. Also, Alex, I really hear it, which is the truth is, because I definitely like. What's the goal? Wait, any team member
a regular team. I just found out about skin teams right now.
Regular team,
I don't keep up with Atlassian's promises of the future.
Well, except I do, because they usually do.
I don't, because I'm usually the last one to get them.
Yeah, it's called Manage Team. But like, so the redeem connected team.
Yeah, until I see it in production, and it's not in a.
It's in production. I have an instance that it's in production.
I don't play with these things until they're ready. Atlassian has burned me many a times in an enterprise.
Bob, why is it hot garbage, Bob?
Wait, the regular team.
Yeah. Oh, the regular team?
No, the regular team. I like this. I like this idea. I don't know. Right. I'd love to see the mechanic of how it actually works, though, because teams or companies have a hard enough time just setting up Guard correctly. Most of the teams that I work with that set up Guard just do the user provisioning, but hardly ever do they actually manage all their groups to get pushed in.
Oh, well, oh, really? Oh, it's almost really managed.
So this is just an extra layer of added complexity that I just don't even. I mean, like I said, I usually see teams use Guard to push the team in, but hardly ever the groups.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, we definitely pushed all of our groups in over via Okta, and in fact, we literally we did this. There actually, what we actually did was we linked our groups. We created, because you don't actually push them. In this case, you're going to create a group, and then it's going to be linked in between, and you're seeing the information. Yeah, you create a group and then link to a team or create a team off of it. Regular teams are hot garbage. I agree. That's so. But I also think there's a larger picture, a larger conversation here, which is very interesting, which I'm not surprised is a larger conversation. And it's not surprised that I hear you and Bob on one side related to like epics and things like that, and I sit on the other side. Well, somewhat. This is what I'll say. All I care about is that a company gets better at releasing products consistently that provide value to customers. If they do that with 3 pieces of paper and a stick of gum, I don't care. I guess the other thing I do care about, to be fair, is that I don't want employees to be like constantly overworked and burned out. That's the key. But if that means that they're using epics, like their stories or whatever, like Atlassian's gonna let us change the name of epics.
You can do that now. That's the EAP I told you burn me, and that's why I don't touch EAPs ever again.
Oh yeah.
So 2.5 years ago, I renamed my epics, and holy moly, talk about a dumpster fire.
Oh no, I forgot what they're doing is now that work items are work items. They're the next evolution that they told us about. I remember this is that you'll be able to call your work items what you want them to be, and then
so that's why I made a bold statement. I remember vividly May 1st, 2024. Where Anu's on stage and she's like, you can rename your epic to be whatever you want. And I'm like, great. Atlassian just killed Agile. And the world hated me for it, but that's essentially what they've done.
But like
the core principles of Agile and Scrum are no more. You do what you do, you boo.
But I mean, my argument would be that first of all, Agile and Scrum not the same
Not
thing.
the same thing, but it's a subset of
Uh,
Agile.
there's a large sure yes that's true, but also many people would say what in the world is Agile about something that says if you don't do it exactly this way then you're not doing
You
it
need
at
to have
all.
rules. You need to have guardrails in place. Otherwise, it's chaos and anarchy.
Sure, but you can make up your own as long as
People
they
are not
work.
very creative. You can't make up your own.
You
cannot run a multi-billion-dollar product delivery on good faith. You need rules and structure and processes and
sure you do need rules and structure and processes, but the same rules and structures and processes do not work for every single team because they have different functions, because they operate
that's
differently.
very true.
There's
But that's
different
why,
needs.
so welcome to every corporate problem in America in the world.
Yeah,
That's why Safe tried to
exactly.
come in and save the day, but all it did was turn Agile into waterfall and charge people $1 billion to figure out how to use Safe, which is why I don't like Safe either.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't believe that Agile is dead. I also don't
I'll tell
believe
you
that
this,
Agile
Brian. Let's just
like
make the Brian
I
and
also
Alex way. Let's invent a whole new
okay,
way of a
right,
new umbrella of
exactly.
Agile.
Right, we're gonna call stories dogs, and
Well, let's be realistic. Let's call it what everybody calls them, a task.
right. And no, what do they call it? They call it task. They call it an issue. We trick them.
A ticket.
A ticket.
The ticket.
It's a ticket. There's just small tickets, smaller
Yeah.
tickets.
I will
and
tell you,
bigger tickets.
if you got my 2 cents, if you pull up the Epic Guide to Agile, it's a book. That is by far my favorite book that I've ever read on the subject matter here. So that's on that. Not sponsored, not anything, but this to me is the best representation that I've ever read of how to actually make sense of this chaos. It's like 600, 800 pages. It's thick. It's a big book. It's not something you're going to read in a weekend, but this individual here gives you, he lays it down with like facts and data and examples.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not sponsored either. I literally pay the guy, but I will tell you that the person who has so far given. I mean, the person whose view on Agile most aligns with the way my brain works is Al
I haven't heard of
Schuyler.
him. I've read a lot of Agile books. That's the best one
Oh,
I've liked.
oh, you haven't heard of Al? I'm amazed.
Well, I don't. I'm
Um,
not. It's like sports. I don't know any of the players until I see their number on the jersey.
yeah. So Al runs Success Engineering. He runs something called Amplio. And I've been doing Amplio for almost a year, and what's been really interesting is that and Bob knows Al. Um, he he's really lean focused. And I
So
love lean.
let me address
I think
Sarah's
lean is
comment here.
really
I don't see how
cool.
you can really lean into leveraging plans without also leaning. So up until what was
You
it,
can't.
15 minutes ago, that I learned that you can skim the teams. I absolutely abhor teams. Like I think it's the worst feature that Atlassian has shipped. With skim, the moment you can control the team, I might give teams another try now.
Yeah, we used to have. But you're also right, Sarah. Like it can be really stressful to try and you can't.
Well,
You just ignore the
let
feeling,
me
but
give you
also you end
let
up
me give you the
creating another
story that
team
happened
field.
to me as to why I hate teams so much. So I worked in an enterprise, a pretty big enterprise. We had lots of Juras, lots of instances, right? We had like maybe 20 instances of Jura, and then we had sandboxes, right? And so this happened to like be coincided with my EAP nightmare as well. And so what we did was we had teams in one site, and then we went to the sandbox and we recreated the teams and we were testing things out, right? We were trying to figure out a new way of doing work. And what we ended up doing was we had one Jira project with multiple boards, and each board was represented by a team. And so we did the issues in this project, and team equals X, Y, and Z, 3 different boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome, and we built an entire framework around that. Everything was awesome. We made the team field required, so when anybody created a new story, a new task, a new bug, a new anything, they had to pick the team and show up in the right board. Bob's your uncle. Sorry, Bob. Right? Everything was great. And then one day Atlassian decides to do this thing where, for whatever reason, they thought it was a bright idea to merge all the teams across all your sites at the org level. So now every team,
Oh yeah, they're splitting them again.
freaking Atlassian.
Yeah, they're splitting them again.
Well,
I
so
just read about
they
that.
join them all, and so now all of a sudden one day, because I have 20 different sites, which means 20 different groups of site admins, only a couple of org admins, right? And when this merge happened, one of my other site admins, who was in a whole different department on the opposite side of the company, was like, "What's this team? I don't recognize them." Delete, 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 delete. And my team wakes up in the morning, because this was India time overnight. So we wake up in the morning. We're like, "What happened to all of our boards? None of them work." Because all the teams were deleted because now they were centralized. And that was the dumbest thing that Atlassian could have done for me. And after that, I don't do AAPs and I don't use fields that are configurable by any user. And that's also why I hate team managed projects. You take that, you individualize it for each Jira project.
Sarah said, "Weird that they only give us."
So see, Sarah, this is why I'm so passionate about why I hate these things. I yanked hair out of my head.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. And I don't know that there's a I mean, I do know what the problem is. They're doing too many things at once.
See, now I hit a nerve with Sarah with their team managed projects.
Oh no, she's so mad. Oh my god. I mean, what's funny, Alex, is I was working with somebody today who Danielle put me in touch with. And literally, like, she's the only person using Jira at the small nonprofit. She's a consultant, Salesforce consultant, and she's working for them. She needed something to help manage her stuff, and they're trying to do it in a homegrown thing in Salesforce. So now I'm getting Jira.
You got to give them a team managed project.
No, but you know what's funny is I was like, no, I think Alex is right. Team managed projects are terrible.
Well, it's funny. So today I dropped a video for I had to do a team water thing with Mr. Beast, and I was like, yeah. I need to explain to people how to use Jira, and I'm like, it's impossible for the world, like the general populace, to use Jira without not being in a team managed project. Like, you have to be in a team managed project if you don't know the IT part of Jira.
Right, because you know what I mean, first of all, because here's what happened. Why I was like, no, we can't use a team managed project anymore. Because
I will tell you though, that Atlassian has screwed me once again just yesterday with team managed projects. So here's my dilemma. Here's my current dilemma. Since you're more on the inside track of Atlassian, let me see if you've heard this problem. So I have a team managed project. I have a company managed project. I have a custom field on the company managed project called X. Then, because this name is very non-unique, I have another team member who made that team managed project, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to make this custom field called X." So now I have a team managed X field and a company managed X field with the exact same name. Well, she went to go update the options on that dropdown, and now there's a collision because the names of the fields are the same, and Jira's confusing the company managed one because now you can use company managed fields in the team managed projects. And there's a collision, and it's like you got to go and update the context of the company managed fields to be global. But I'm in there, and it's global already. So I Googled it, and there's a Jack ticket, and the workaround is call Atlassian.
Wait, so you update the context of the company managed field,
but it's already global, so there's nothing I could do there.
To do what? Like, why would you? In fact, I would think you would want to do the opposite.
You would think so. I was like, you know what? Maybe Atlassian's wrong, and so I went to try to make a context. But guess what? You can't add a context for a team managed project at the custom level field.
Oh, right. Well, right, that's a team managed project. Aren't the custom fields?
They're supposed to be isolated, but recently Atlassian opened it up so that team managed projects can grab company managed field.
Oh, right. The team managed projects. So inside the company managed field, you see both of them now.
I'm trying to edit
inside the team.
I am trying to edit the options in the team managed project, but it has the field as the company managed.
Why don't you just get rid of the team managed field?
Right. That's putting a band-aid. This shouldn't exist. This bug shouldn't exist. And the worst part is that the insult to injury is that when I look up the jack, it's closed because it's fixed, and their workaround is call Atlassian support. We'll fix it for you. How is that a right answer?
Yeah. I mean, what that means is that they have actually
Broken Jira.
Well, no. This is what you love to say. You love to say this. What that means is that they have fixed the problem, but it's a forward fix. And so
this is on the cloud.
there
We'll go
is-
back to Tim's conversation. Put that in a sprint and push the change tomorrow.
Well, but sometimes some changes are only one way.
This is not a feature, Bryan, that should exist in Jira.
No, I don't agree that it is no, I mean, sorry, I agree it's not a feature. I'm also saying that if they say that it's fixed and then they fix it for you, it should be
Right.
fixed
And
for
the,
good.
and the answer can't be call Atlassian, so we fix it for you under the hood.
Well, no. Sorry, I disagree.
Why?
It can be that,
That's
but
horrible
what I mean
customer
is,
support.
what-
That's
what do you-
300,000 customers.
no, it's not. How is it? How
That's
is it horrible
300,000
customer
customers that are
support if
having
they
this
fix it for
problem.
you? Well, how fast can they
I
get it
don't know.
done?
I don't work at Atlassian.
Exactly.
They introduced the problem.
If you have to wait in line, yes. So they introduced the problem, and they're going
Right.
to fix it. Like, what if they told you had to spend 4 hours, like going through a complicated process to fix the problem? This particularly, my friend, is you being the IT guy who wants control over being able to fix.
I don't want the problem to exist. The problem shouldn't exist. The problem shouldn't exist.
Oh,
if T-Managed projects didn't
I
exist.
agree. Okay, yes, that's true. But I also understand why team
I know.
managers were
I
originally
do.
introduced.
I do understand it as well. But Atlassian,
Yes.
so it's you got to rip the band-aid. You cannot have a transitionary period where you're trying to merge the two. Mike told me when I asked Mike point blank, why do team managed projects exist? He's like, yeah, we screwed it up a little bit, but the intent was for it to be a gradual incline. Well, in that gradual inclination, it's going to be a bumpy road. There's going to be hiccups, and we're seeing this right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I agree. There are going to be hiccups. And I mean, yep. I don't know. Like, let's go check out. I mean, you're right. And also, I sometimes I don't know what to do in situations like that. And just what I mean by that is like, yeah, there's going to be hiccups. And I guess we should look around and say, is there anything better?
So I would say be very careful with how you. If you're ever making a field, try to make your field as unique as possible.
Well, first of all, don't use team managed projects. Or if you do them in a separate Jira, like your playground Jira. Because I do understand, because I'm really with you. Like, I had to teach this woman how screen schemes.
Yes, the problem shouldn't exist.
I agree. The problem shouldn't exist. Listen. There is no disagreement, but it does.
We can
complain
is there
about
ever
something.
any problem that should ever exist? Like, is there ever a good problem?
Right, exactly. Like, it's so very funny. We're like, this problem should exist. I agree. Donald Trump shouldn't be president.
I'll tell you a really cool. If you're a Disney fan, I'll tell you about a really cool problem that I found out that they got themselves into a corner. That is really interesting how Disney got this far and didn't get in trouble. So when they were building out like Toy Story Mania, I guess they left a crane behind the building, and so there's a crane sandwiched in between in Credit Coaster and Toy Story Mania because they built and they did not think about getting the crane out. So there's just a crane stuck. So whenever you go on the loopy loop in Credit Coaster, look down when you're up, look down, and you will see a crane just stuck there in the middle of the park. It's a bug that they added that they got stuck with it.
Lina was like, I got to get off camera. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, I agree. The problem shouldn't exist.
But they do.
And yeah, and like you said too, yeah, exactly. And like they should like the thing hip chat should never have been bought. They just should have started with Slack immediately.
I do.
Hindsight is always 2020. How many problems have we created that should not have existed?
Well, how much of that is carelessness versus how much of that is ignorance versus how much of that is naiveness?
Oh, I think it's all three. And also how much of that is How much? I mean, how much of that is outside pressure? How much of that is some of the things that
Offshore
you just named?
resources.
Also, just like the contextual overload of 12,000 people.
Yeah, you get rid of your senior. I thought it was when I was at a big giant aerospace company, right? You get rid of one senior level engineer that's worth $300,000-$400,000. You get a bunch of junior engineers at $60,000, and they're coming to the source code and they're like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Like, what are we looking at?
Yeah, the concept of context needs to go away. Context is now either global
Yeah,
or
and that's what's
project.
killing me right
Ugh.
now, right? That so some reason the two projects aren't talking to each other and they're incompatible. And the context,
Yeah,
like if you're gonna have
yeah, that makes
context,
sense.
I should be able to add
Yeah,
a
but
context to a team managed project now. If you're gonna merge the two,
yes, agreed. That would have been a smart way to do it. Like every team managed project gets
or
its
the
own
ability to
context.
get a context added.
Right. But Jens, my question for you is like, are you saying that it needs to go all the way? Like context is either, are you saying context is now either global or project, or are you saying that's what it should be? I don't understand
I
how to
think
parse that
Atlassian should make the
statement.
context concept easier because I go to ClickUp and you can make a custom field, and if you're in project A, you start typing in your name of your field, and when you hit enter, ClickUp is smart enough to go, hey, you already have this field. Do you want to reuse it or not?
I think that you're right. And I think that Atlassian would like to do that. I also think Atlassian has 18 years, 20 something years of the most, the, oh, and this is part of this is the underlying like biz objects framework fundamentally. Um, or sorry, objects for business, off biz. Um, I think that off biz might be part of the problem here. We can find out. This is what, by the way, this is exactly what Jira is built on.
We should build our own Jira. We got Jens over here on the chat. He helped build the
Yeah.
cloud version
Am
of
I
Jira.
bringing Jens? Am I giving you?
I've always joked around that
Am I
Scott
giving you?
quit or retired from Atlassian to go build like an on-premise version of Jira.
Like fully customizable, like how customizable? Like this is the thing I want to know. I want to be like, okay, like what did you really do with this? And like how much of this is like part of one of the things I wonder is like how much of, because I know what'll break your Jira faster than anything else is custom fields. Like a DC Jira will break faster than anything else if you just load it up with too many custom fields, especially if they have if they're global.
Yeah. I think Jens' comment here is
Yeah.
interesting, right? So Atlassian went through a period of time where they did that great fork, right? They call it the fork or whatever. They have like an internal name for when they split from DC to cloud, right? And I almost feel like Atlassian, with the introduction of JPD and with their push into agents and all the stuff they're doing on the studio and robo front, like I feel like they're gonna have to do another fork again that is more. They need a Jira that is more on the spirit of team managed, but more influenced by agents.
Yes, absolutely. You need to have a database. Ultimately, you need to have a database architecture that is flexible enough to
Anything
handle
you
recontextualizing millions of objects in the relationships. Oh, okay. I understand what's happening now. You remember when they introduced the GraphQL
at
API?
Atlassian, no, vaguely, but
Yeah, they have GraphQL, but like what you need is a graph database. What you need is a graph database. And I would tell you that it's probably not at all unrelated that they have a thing called the teamwork graph now.
So, Team 26 prediction: Atlassian introduces a leaner version of Jira. That is either 20. I'll give that Atlassian. I've been told that Atlassian's roadmaps are 18 to 24 months out. So, Team 27 will get a lean, mean fighting machine version of Jira, powered exclusively by Robo.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Robo's got to get a lot better. I did just know
So,
that
giving
they
them 24 months.
opened up. Yeah, Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of complexity in the existing system, and it's extremely hard to
Yeah,
change
but
without
I
breaking
think
things for existing
I think
customers.
Atlassian's gonna have to do another fork. Like they will have to leave behind the stuff that makes Jira finicky.
Oh, well, right. The problem is, but I mean, right. I agree with you, and also, you know exactly the people that will scream the
You and me?
loudest about that. Well, Daryl. Daryl will say it used to be easier, and I'll be like, you are lying.
There's nothing easy about being a Jira admin right now.
There was never anything easy
No, but
about
you
being a
can
Jira
learn
admin.
things. Like you can figure things out. Like just
The hardest part about cloud, I think, for folks, especially folks who grew up on data center, is that getting losing the ability to see what's happening under the hood yourself is deeply frustrating because you cannot. You have to learn a whole new set of technologies to diagnose the problem.
so
Like you can't just go look at the
yeah.
log.
So I only spent about 1.5 years in data center. So I try to stay away from blogs and databases as much as possible. So my fingerprints weren't over anything when something bad happened.
I
But
guess, yeah,
being in the cloud,
that's
I
fair.
think the hardest part about being a Jira admin in the cloud is the rate of change.
You see, this is why it's helpful to be ADHD like I am. I fucking love it.
Until it doesn't work.
Whatever. Yeah, then you listen. Listen, I would ask people how many of your other systems like don't work sometimes. Go home, take a break. Yeah, that's what I figured. Team managed projects are a fork essentially. Now they need to bring it back together. This is the whole idea. This is why you have sandboxes. You build a little sandbox to play in, and then you're like, okay, so how do we take these ideas and reincorporate them back into the big thing? What things do we have to change? It's just no company, once they get going and they're being successful, gets to put a pause on things and make the changes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to build a track once the station has left or train has left the station.
And yet, that's what every single company is asked to do.
So if you want
Once
$1
they're
billion
successful.
idea,
Like,
Brian,
that's
for
all the
our new Agile is we literally embrace the chaos and build a framework for the chaos.
right, which is basically like 3 days on, 4 days off. And on the 4 days off, other people are working and they're fixing the things that broke.
Just toss things in.
We're just all constantly taking a break from the train. Speaking of trains, actually having nothing to do with trains intentionally, but let's hop over to our favorite place to do some check-ins, which is talking about what's
I was gonna
coming
say
up.
it's not healthy to be checking the enrollment sheet there.
That's so funny. Right, here we go. All right. We've got well, you can go. Oh, Alaska Community Pasadena's
Yeah,
kicking
I just
off.
got the notification.
Oh, that's
I just got
exciting.
the notification.
Are we gonna go to Pasadena and say hi to
We
them?
might have to.
And we can invite them down 2 days later?
Just have to make it an LA trip. It's virtual.
Oh, it's virtual. It's virtual.
So
It's virtual.
funny
Thank
story
goodness.
with Sharon. So Sharon, who's running this, she sent me. I'm trying to see if I can align my story correctly because I get pinged a lot. But Sharon sent me a connection request on LinkedIn one time. I guess she watched one of my videos and whatnot. And we got to chatting, we got to talking, and I mentioned to her that I was gonna go to Pasadena in March. Now, when I was talking to her, this would have been like last August or last July when I'm talking to her, right? And so I didn't make anything of it. She sent me a message. She was like, "Hey, big fan." And then we jumped on a quick call because she's like, "Hey, Alex, if I ever need any Jira questions, can you help me out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." And so we left it at that. Never heard from her again. Fast forward to like a week before this event in Pasadena occurs, and she's like, "Hey, are you coming to Pasadena this week?" I'm like, "Who the heck are you? And how do you remember? And how do you know I'm going to be?" Because I had not told a soul that I was going to be in Pasadena that day.
That's so
And
funny.
I was like, so I'm scrolling up through the conversation. I'm like, who? I did not tell a single person that I'm going to be in Pasadena. And yet somebody knows that I'm going to be there. And so I remember I see the conversation, but I totally forgot that I told her verbally during our call that I was going to be there 9 months later.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Makes
so
sense.
I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And so she just shows up. She shows up because she lives across the street from the convention center. And so she shows up and we hang out with her like all day Saturday. think it was on Saturday. Yeah, no, it was Friday. We hung out that Friday because then Saturday she didn't come, and then we didn't show up on Sunday. So we hung out on Friday, and we just walked around. I had my kids with me and my wife, and we walked around, did all the booths, and Sean Doyle was with us, and yeah, we just hung out for like, I don't know, 8 hours or something, 8-9 hours, and then
Nice.
there we're like, she's like, Sean and I were talking about how we're gonna see each other in a month for a team, and she's like, "What's this team thing?" And I'm like, "Oh, you got to come to team." And so she shows up to team, and then fast forward, now she's a ace leader.
There we go. That's the way it happens. So the next thing we have coming up too is the AI summer camp, where you can see me, Alex, and Lina in person. Alex is going to be doing a talk. He doesn't know which one yet. He's going to be working.
I
with
will tell
somebody
you,
on
I'm
the
not
talk.
winging
I
it
have
this
to-
time.
No, I'm going to give you at least 5 days.
Well, give me at least 5 minutes because I've never had
Yeah.
a worse experience at a talk than my talk that I did.
But we're doing a full day community-led conference. I mean, we've got amazing
62
people
people,
here.
that's not
Ian
bad.
Buchanan.
You're halfway there.
Yeah, 62
Halfway.
people, absolutely. Yeah, and we have to stop at 120 because the hotel told me that we have to stop at 120. Apparently, that's the max that they can put in the room. Yeah, it's going to be really amazing. I'm really excited to have Sanjay, the first AI strategy consultant at Atlassian. Connie, principal
I've met
customer success
Sanjay. I saw him at
manager,
team.
and Adam, the head of solution architecture.
Feature ball.
Some heavy freaking. It would be great, my friend. Ian and I just met yesterday to start working and talking through some of our stuff and planning our 3 workshops we're doing. Jesus. But we're gonna learn how to build Forge agents, because we're gonna have a whole afternoon where you can build a goddamn Forge agent and walk out and have something that you can use at your house. And who knows what features you'll be able to do, because there might be 20 more released between now and then. I'm finally getting out my newsletter again today after like 2 weeks off, accidentally. And my goodness, there's a lot of stuff. And it was funny because I ran it through Claude, and I said, Claude, read these URLs and tell me what things are the most controversial.
And that, yeah, I was gonna say, make sure you have the EAPs in there.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you some good ones here. First, we've got the 100,000 issue limit coming to OpenSearch in data center.
The dying breed, man. The dying
So you
breed.
won't be able to return more than 100,000 issues. That's going to be a thing. What was the other one? Let's see. It's here. Oh God, potential controversial angles. My goodness.
Well, I'm gonna be there, so you know there's gonna be controversy.
But let's see here. One of the things. Oh, the other thing is the legacy editor conversion. Because starting yesterday. Damn, starting yesterday, all newly created cloud sites will automatically convert eligible legacy pages to the new editor. Did you know that?
Well, actually, no. I did hear.
Yeah.
I did hear chatter, but when I hear those things, it just presents opportunities for more things to break.
Well, yeah, this is very true. I mean, convert eligible legacy pages. What are legacy pages?
Can't have
because they built
right?
they have the legacy content macro now. So, and starting in January, you can't create new pages in the legacy editor. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
I would love to do. I would love it if MCB and the Atlassian leadership team did like a crash course or a masterclass on how to run a business at this scale. Because I don't see Microsoft. Maybe I need to spend more time in the Microsoft world. But I don't understand how Atlassian puts themselves in these situations that then they have to like engineer the way out of them.
Oh, so Microsoft was doing it 20
So they've
years
just learned
ago.
their lesson. That's what I was gonna say. I remember the controversy in 2007 with the ribbon with Office.
Well, and I mean, listen, they have been the other thing. Listen, a lot of people I know were pretty fired up about the layoffs the other day, but we should put it in context in terms of the number of people Atlassian has laid off versus the number of people almost every other large company has
Right.
laid off. Not that I think like it sucks. I think the first thing you should do is, especially if you have open jobs,
That part
you
blows
should be
my mind.
offering to
How do
retrain
you lay
people.
off people, but yet have open positions?
Oh, I understand because you think that the new people aren't like basically you're looking for
why?
different people with
Why
different
would you
skill
want?
sets.
And your employees are your number one cheerleader. Like, why would
I
you want to
know.
Why would you want to take a gamble with somebody else?
Depends on how much. I mean, depends on how much time you're being given to hit probably a quarterly goal. Probably a quarterly number from your investors.
That's the. Yeah.
Even though the thing is, Scott, is that like the thing that they don't. Atlassian doesn't really get that same level of like cover because there's one guy. I guess still technically two, who could like they can't fire them. They have more than enough shares. They're like Mark Zuckerberg.
Dude, Mark is like the only CEO that set up his company right.
Well, no, but same with Atlassian. Like they can't fire Scott or they can't fire MCB. He has the controlling shares. He and Scott have all the controlling shares basically. Or how about the fact that this is? I mean, this is.
Can we talk?
Whatever.
Sorry, go ahead. I got another thing to talk about.
The RoboDev CLI token limits. They're changing.
We're still waiting for Robo CLI to work.
Well, that's partly why I think they're doing this, because the number of people who jumped on to use it smashed their system.
Shauna.
Yeah.
Can we talk about why every freaking Atlassian page has that accept my cookies type of thing? Even though you've been to the same web page 1,000 times and you click yes, accept, and it doesn't matter where you go, but every single Atlassian website has a accept my damn cookies.
Blame GDPR.
But every website, every single time after you already clicked yes, why do you have to hit yes again?
Sometimes. I don't know. People, this is really funny. My favorite part about this, I'm just like I'm looking at like some of these ideas that it said were controversial. It's very, very funny. Like, where is it? Here's one. So the field deletion capability is being removed. So they're removing the ability to permanently, not completely, but like you can't just immediately delete a field after trashing it. You have to wait 2 months before deleting it.
Please tell me you can at least still go and force delete it. You have to.
No.
How is that a feature? That can't be a feature. Go double check your cloud. But Lina and I gotta drop here.
Yep. I have to be careful because I don't know that all of this is true.
What you gotta be more careful of is making sure it's public. I've gotten burned by that before.
Oh my God. Well, that's why I'm gonna read it all over first.
I did when I first joined the Atlassian community, we used to have something called Newsbreak. And every week between Bob, Rodney, and myself, we'd look at what's going on in the Atlassian community and we do news. And I just go to community.atlassian.com and I just look through all the articles and whatever headlines I found interesting, I'd open them up. And then I'd have like 10, 15 tabs and then I just go through them. And one day, Andy Gladstone, he sends us a private message. He's like, guys, you can't talk about this one. I'm like, can't talk about it. He's like, yeah, it's in a locked community. I'm like, what the heck is a locked community? and he's like, sure enough, you look in there, it's like private group. I'm like, huh. Wish somebody would have told me there was such a thing as a private group.
Also, still, like, okay, whatever. You put it on the
You put it
internet.
That's a great point.
Did I sign an NDA?
I didn't sign anything, I don't think.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you have yourself a good Friday night. We're going to get out of here.
Absolutely, friends. This has been wonderful. All right, folks. Well, we're gonna, unless folks have more things. I mean, wow, we got up to 6 people today. I'm so proud of us. I think we were up at 7 at one point. It's a
Bye.
slow build. We're gonna bounce a half hour early so I can go eat some. Oh, they're gonna do Let's Build a Robo Agent. Why are they doing that next week? How dare they? Was that yours?
Why?
No, not mine. I'm not doing anything till October.
Oh, I know, but what is he looking at?
On the,
Ace
on the-
event.
it's community website. It's on the side. It says Let's Build a Robo Agent. I'm like, really? Because you should come to our AI summer
Yeah.
camp to do that.
All right, folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, how dare you, Alex? Not you, different Alex. That's his
All right.
name too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Take care. I mean, Jens, do you want to come on? You can come on and we can talk shit for half an hour. Otherwise, at some point, friends, I got to figure out how to make like an ending here or like an audio fun, like little we're leaving sort of stuff. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap up. So, folks, have a wonderful. Let me switch back. You can see my beautiful face. It's the only thing you all have ever asked for. Is more of my beautiful face. So, it's been a great day. Thank you for coming to the first Forge Fridays. We are going to be starting one more. I'm trying to kill myself, I swear. We're going to be starting one more recurring event on Mondays. Not next Monday, but this coming Monday, but the following Monday. It's going to be Marketplace Mondays, and where we're going to go through Marketplace apps, and we're going to see what they do and see how they work, see how easy they're to figure out, and help folks as best we can. So if you have ideas for Marketplace apps that you think we should be looking at, please go ahead and send me an email at brian.guffey@atlassiancommunity.com. Probably not that one, actually. brian@makeworkbetter.io. Let me throw that up on the screen really quick. It's brian@makeworkbetter.io, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. There we go. Here we go. Sorry, it's brian@makeworkbetter.io. That's how you can reach me. Right there, brian@makeworkbetter.io. You can also find me across the internet at places like, where? Let's see. On Blue Sky, I am at chaosgremlin. This is terrible. We'll do that another time. You can find me on the internet. I'm tired. Have a great day, friends. Bye-bye.